Picture this. It's 1999. A man sits in his Manhattan penthouse, overlooking the city that once overlooked him. He's worth hundreds of millions. His record label dominates the charts. His clothing line is rewriting the rules of fashion. Every artist wants to work with him. Every entrepreneur wants to know his secrets. His name isn't just known, it's a brand. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy. But here's what most people don't know. 20 years earlier, this same man was a kid in Harlem watching his mother work 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. No connections, no safety net, no blueprint for what he was about to build. This is the story of how he got from there to here. And it's not the story you think you know. Sean John Combs was born on November 4, 1969, in Harlem, New York, and right from the beginning, his life was marked by loss and resilience. When Sean was just 2 years old, his father, Melvin Combs, was murdered. The details were murky, the aftermath devastating. Overnight, his mother Janice became a single parent in one of the toughest neighborhoods in America. She wasn't going to let her son become another statistic. Janice worked multiple jobs, sometimes 3 at a time, doing whatever it took to provide. Young Sean watched her leave before sunrise and come home after dark. He saw the exhaustion, he saw the sacrifice, and somewhere in that observation, a refusal grew inside him. A refusal to let his future look like his present. The family eventually moved to Mount Vernon, a suburb just north of the city. It was a step up, but Sean never forgot where he came from. For him, Harlem was a standard. If you could make it there, you could make it anywhere. In high school, Sean wasn't a top student, but he was sharp. Socially intelligent, he knew how to work a room and how to make connections. He threw parties, but these were events. He'd charge at the door, control the vibe, and make sure everyone left talking about it. These weren't just parties, they were his first business ventures. After high school, Sean enrolled at Howard University in Washington, D.C., a prestigious historically black university. He studied business, but more importantly, he studied opportunity. Howard wasn't just about lectures, it was a network, a stage, a place where ambition was currency. But Sean couldn't sit still. He wanted in, not into corporate America, into the music industry. So he started commuting back to New York on weekends to intern at Uptown Records, unpaid, exhausting, relentless. Nobody asked him to do it, but that's exactly why he did. Uptown Records in the early 90s was the epicenter of a new sound, new jack swing. It was R&B with edge, hip-hop with melody. Artists like Heavy D, Jadachi, and Mary J. Blige were redefining black music. And at the helm was Andre Harrell, a visionary executive who saw something in this hungry kid from Harlem. Sean started at the bottom, fetching coffee and running errands, but he didn't stay there long. Because Sean had vision, he didn't just see tasks. He saw outcomes. Andre Harrell noticed. Soon, Sean was an A&R, the person responsible for finding talent and shaping their sound. For someone barely out of his teens, this was unheard of. He helped develop Jadachi into superstars. But his biggest accomplishment at Uptown was Mary J. Blige. He saw something raw and real in her voice. He helped craft her debut album, What's the 411, and it became a cultural phenomenon. Mary became the queen of hip-hop soul, and Sean had his fingerprints all over it. Everything seemed perfect. Sean was rising fast, too fast, some thought. Then in 1993, Andre Harrell fired him. Some say Sean was too ambitious, too aggressive. Others say it was a difference in creative vision. Whatever the cause, Sean Combs was out. For most people, this would have been the end of the story. A cautionary tale, but Sean didn't see it that way. He saw it as liberation, because now he could build his own empire. In 1993, Sean Combs founded Bad Boy Records. He was 23 years old, no major funding, no corporate backing. Just belief, hustle, and a Rolodex full of contacts. His first signee was Craig Mack, but his real gamble was on a young rapper from Brooklyn named Christopher Wallace. The world would come to know him as the notorious Big Sean heard Biggie's demo and immediately knew this was generational talent. But raw talent wasn't enough. Sean understood presentation. He crafted Biggie's persona, the king of New York, larger than life but grounded in the streets. In 1994, Biggie's debut album Ready to Die was released. It was an instant classic. It went multi-platinum and put Bad Boy on the map. It established Sean Combs as not just a label exec, but a kingmaker. He signed Faith Evans, 112, and Total, creating a sound that was polished but edgy, commercial but credible. He sampled classic soul records and flipped them into hip-hop anthems, and then there was his own artistry. Sean started performing as Puff Daddy in 1997. Following the tragic death of Biggie, Sean released I'll Be Missing You. The song became a global phenomenon, won a Grammy, and proved that Sean wasn't just behind the scenes. He was a star in his own right. By the late 90s, Bad Boy Records was a juggernaut. Most artists build their wealth through albums and tour. Sean Combs understood that was a ceiling. For generational wealth, he needed to think like a CEO. In 1998, he launched Sean John, a clothing line that brought high fashion to streetwear. This wasn't just celebrity merch. In 2004, he won the Council of Fashion Designers of America Award for Menswear Designer of the Year, beating out legacy fashion houses. Then he moved into spirits. In 2007, he partnered with Diageo to become the face of Ciroc Vodka. He didn't just endorse it, he reimagined its marketing, making it synonymous with celebration and luxury. Ciroc sales skyrocketed. He launched Revolt TV in 2013, his answer to MTV for a new generation. He invested in water with Aquahydrate and tequila with Delian. Every move was calculated. What separated Sean was execution. He didn't just slap his name on products. He understood that people don't just buy products, they buy identity. By the 2010s, Forbes regularly listed him as one of the wealthiest figures in hip-hop. Not because of album sales, but because of ownership. Sean Combs' journey from Harlem to hip-hop royalty is a masterclass in vision, execution, and resilience. He didn't wait for permission or accept limitations. He saw the world not as it was, but as it could be, and then he built that world. His net worth is estimated in the hundreds of millions, his influence global, his name iconic, but none of that was guaranteed. It started with a kid watching his mother work herself to exhaustion and deciding his life would be different. It continued with an unpaid intern who refused to be invisible. It exploded with a young executive who got fired and chose to build his own empire. The specifics of his story are unique, but the principles aren't. Discipline, ownership, reinvention, belief. So whether you're trying to build a business, launch a creative career, or just figure out your next move, remember this: the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't closed by luck. It's closed by work, by strategy, and by refusing to accept no as a final answer. The empire isn't built in a day, but it is built one decision at a time. Thanks for watching.